Hey, welcome back to an episode of the Ramen Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Hey, dude. How's it going?
Good, man. How's it going with you?
I'm doing pretty good. I want to talk about Goblin Slayer Goblin's Crown today. How's that sound?
That sounds fair. I feel like that's a fair thing to talk about this week, yeah.
All right. For anyone that hasn't seen Goblin Slayer, this is definitely a follow-up to the TV show. But don't worry, there's a 25-minute recap that Juan warned me about before I actually watched it.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen Goblin Slayer, you can absolutely check out Goblin Slayer Goblin's Crown. It's on Crunchyroll. Go watch it, whatever.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, but things have been pretty good with me. Nothing exciting. I don't have any great news. It's just been like games and movies, not movies, and TV, and just chilling. I guess movie.
I
watched this. I watched Goblin's Crown.
Oh, okay. I was like, this movie. I was like, you watched another movie?
Nah, man.
Time?
I don't have time for that. I'm playing Final Fantasy and shit. What's been going on with you?
I feel like my week has been pretty boring too. Kind of like on this, not boring, just nothing super exciting.
Just chill time. Hey, you want to mention what you forgot to mention last week?
What did I forget to mention last week? Oh, okay. I remember. Yes, I will most definitely remember to mention that. But what I wanted to say was that I finished my first assignment, assignment for this class, which was like a run to jump. And our new assignment started, which is an obstacle course. And it's just like,
so it's Fall Guys themed.
No, it's
Fall Guys. For those of you that don't know, Fall Guys came out today, the day that we're recording it. Everyone should go and play it. I'm going to be streaming it nonstop. Probably, maybe I'm not streaming it, but I'm going to be playing it nonstop. And this weekend, Juan and we're playing it. We're streaming it.
Let's just give me a second. We'll get there. In a second.
Okay.
Anyways, my obstacle course assignment is just supposed to be, someone doing a bunch of things like jumping, running, rolling, kind of like things you would see like in American Ninja Warrior thing, kind of that
Fall
vibe,
Guys. Yeah.
Wipeout, if you will.
I will.
Yeah. MXC, if you will.
Yeah. This time I will.
This time you will. So,
yeah.
Our teacher recommended like shooting reference of us doing these things if you could, and I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna go outside in the 90 to 100, fucking heat, right?"
But
there's no fucking way I'm doing that. Instead, you could like get reference of people doing like parkour stuff and like running and jumping. So I spliced together like a parkour thing for like with references and stuff and started my animation. And I think it's coming along pretty nicely. It's not due for like 6 weeks, like the final project. So it's like, this is our longest one, but week 1 is blocking just like every week. And I think I'm like a little past halfway done. I should be able to do some more work tonight and then work tomorrow and then present it for class, critiques, and then kind of refine it some more. So, it's good. It's just like, doesn't mean it's boring school talk. And I'm like really enjoying it. I was talking to my brother-in-law.
He's boring as fuck, and I'm having such a good time.
Yeah, it is. It's it's something I want to. It's something I'm like passionate about, and I feel like I'm learning, and it's just good to kind of get those as like for all you fucking yoked people out there, reps. Get some reps in. And what was I gonna say? I saw my brother-in-law earlier, and he was talking to me, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, what are you doing today? He's like, oh, I'm just animating, and he goes like, oh, cool, man, with little balls and shit. And I was like, what do you? He's like, and he starts like gesturing. I was like, oh no, that's motion capture. That's like a form of animation, and there is animation in it. Like you can do cleanup stuff. Like, but that's not what I do. He goes, okay, cool. Like with the pens, like with the tablet and shit. I was like, that's also not what I do. Like, do you not know what I do? Does anybody in my family know what I do? Besides Sierra.
To be fair, you don't show anyone any.
But
of
I
the
tell
stuff
them
you
all
do.
the time. And I was like, I explained to them like, this is what I do. My nephew knows what I does. That's funny. He's the only one. Like Shannon knows. Like, oh yeah, you animate. You make cartoons. Like, sure do. But I was explaining. I was like, no, it's like there's a character and someone puts like controls on him, and then I move the controls kind of like a puppeteer. Like And he goes like, oh, okay, that's cool. Some cool shit. I was like, yeah, man. Thank you, Brandon. Like, he's a nice guy.
Big
support,
really like dude. Let's do it.
Yeah, big support. Big support from the family. Let's see what else. I started watching the challenge on CBS All Access. Now, for people who don't know, the challenge is a MTV reality TV show. But for some reason, CBS has picked up a bunch of MTV shows, a bunch of BET shows, some Nickelodeon shows. There's like Avatars on there, Legend Korra's on there. So I was just like, CBS All Access is paying dividends, because I honestly just bought it to watch. Not bought it. I
Survivor,
paid for paid for the subscription to watch all of Survivor, which I went from 4 seasons out, worked my way up to the most recent season, right, to kind of get a refresher, and then I started season 1, and now I'm at season 11. So I still have like 20 more seasons to go through, but it's like, this is great, because Sierra and I in recent times started getting into watching the challenge, and it's a combination of like things that she likes and I like. It's like people competing and doing things, and then people also getting drunk and yelling at each other, So, and this most recent challenge ended, and one of her favorite competitors of the show was like an older veteran, and this was like his 20th. No, it was his 10th season on the show. Maybe. No, it was more than that. 20th. He's been on there for a long time, but this is he won, and it was a 7th win. And he kind of said, hey, I'm going to retire. He's essentially said, I'm kind of done playing these games. And Sierra really liked him. He's like, oh no, I don't get to see him anymore. I was like, well, I suggested like we can just go back and watch the older season and like work our way forward. And we were going to get a VPN, because like we could use a VPN to change our location and watch
head over to Australia, watch some Australian shit.
Oh yeah, well, I think we would have gone to Canada or whatever, but it would have worked, the same. And we were gonna do it, but then one day I open up CBS All Access, and it's like since season 11 is there. I was like, oh my god, it's meant to be. So Sierra and I have been working through the early season they have on there, which is season 11, and then the person she wants to see isn't there till season 13. So we have a season in between with another person that we like, but not that she loves or whatever. So it's like she will get to see her favorite player. So it's fine. I don't care. He's handsome. I'm not jealous.
The thing about you talking about this to me is that there's a show that has existed for at least 13 seasons, and I have never ever heard of it, and I totally have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
They're on their 35th season. That's
what the fuck?
And I've
There's
probably
35 goddamn seasons of this shit. I've probably never heard of it ever.
I've probably seen like 25 of them. But since I was like a little kid, like since I was really little.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, but you also probably didn't like watch MTV or reality TV shows and stuff like that.
No, that's wrong.
Here's the thing. The reason I watched the challenge was because my sister used to watch The Real World. You know what The Real World was, right? So she would watch The Real World, and then that bled into people from The Real World being casted on the challenge. And now they don't do The Real World anymore. It's just a challenge. So they'll bring people from old Real World seasons, and then throughout the years they'll have new seasons called like Fresh Meat Season, and they'll like just invite new people to play, or they'll bring them from other MTV shows like Are You the One, X on a Beach. They've have now in recent years they've have now Big Brother players, Survivor players, people who played on like competition shows from like other countries. Like they had the winner of Survivor, like Turkey, come and play.
Whoa.
Yeah, and he won. Fucking Nitro was like a ex Green Beret or whatever. He's like a fucking madman. He won. Anyways, it's been going on for a long time, and it's interesting to see television from 2004, something like that. Like it's like the style's different. The things they say are problematic now at points. Like, oh my god, I can't believe they said that word.
No,
it's not widescreen. It's a perfect box, and I go, oh my god. It's but what's lucky is that since this early season is in a season that Sierra knows anybody but one player that's on it, because it's so old. I was kind of bummed. I was like, oh fuck, she's gonna have to suffer through 18 episodes of this. But television was also shorter back then, so the episodes are all 20 minutes long. So we've been like working our way through this season. I think we have like 4 episodes left, and this is like in 3 days or whatever. So yeah, we're almost done with that. And I'm enjoying it. It's kind of cool. It's like a weird time machine. Kind of like that guy that's going back and listening to our old episodes of the podcast.
Dude, so many people do that though. I'm like, why are you doing that? Stop.
They shouldn't do that. Yeah. So I'm doing that.
Well, because people just look up the first episode and they're like, good to go.
Yeah,
let's go from here.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, and I was telling Sarah, like, it's not worth going back to season 1 because season 1 is so old that like it's probably like horrible television, you know? Like season 11 is super cringy. And I was like, oh man, this better start getting good eventually. I think it does around like season 20. Like, so we got like 10 seasons to go before the quality of the television starts getting good. Hey man, you like, you like what you like.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I'm just like still blown away that there are 30 fucking seasons.
35.
Yeah. I've never heard of it, and I still don't know what it is.
All right, man. I will do. You know what? I'm going to.
I'll report back when I watch all 35 seasons.
No, I will do you a solid. I will go and do a synopsis of every season. I will record it. I will shoot, fucking audio. I will do reenactments. I'll get cast interviews, and I'll send it your way.
You'll be able to watch full BDG on this.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing.
Did you see his latest video, Brian David Gilbert's? On Polygon.
But was it about the Office?
Oh no, it's he was gonna review before Halo Infinite comes out. He was gonna review every Halo game. He started this project a year ago, and instead of doing that, he read every Halo novel.
Oh shit!
So it's the only thing he read in a full year were Halo books. He read like every single. There are like 30-something Halo books too.
Are they all done by the same person, or is it like
no?
Oh man,
so there are series done by the same person, but there are a lot of different ones, and they expand on the lore in different ways. Anyways, he had a whole project with that. So he spent like a long time talking about the first novel and said, "All right, that was 600 words. I'm gonna do every other book in 50 words or less."
Whoa.
So he had to succinctly tell what happens in the book, whether or not it's good or bad, and if it's worth like adding into the Halo lore and all of that. That was interesting. So anyways, if you could do some of that, but with the challenge, I'm in.
I knew that there were books before the game, right? There were books.
I don't think so. I think the books came after the game.
But I had a friend that was really into the books, and I was like, okay. And I didn't have a game, so I was like, So everything I knew about Halo was shit he told me.
I remember some people reading it in like reading period when we had that.
Like, it's Halo. I was like, I don't know what that means, dude. But I really like the it was the movie, like the short movie that was made, not the TV series. It was
Red versus Blue, yeah.
No, shut the fuck up. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like Forward Unto Dawn, I think, or something like that.
No, man. I'm like, I don't know shit about Halo. I played the first game, and I played competitive with my friends. For the next two, I think I played with friends, and then I was just out.
I think I played the first one, but just like multiplayer, just like the killing each other. And then the third one, I actually played the story. And then the fourth one I didn't play. And then the ODST came out, and I played that one a lot, like online multiplayer. And then I just stopped playing. Like, I was like, I don't fucking care anymore. This is not for me.
I know like nothing about Halo, but I've been learning more because more people are talking about it recently. And I've been like just watching shit. Anyways, one of my favorite clips that I saw from the Xbox announcements, when they were doing their whole stream, Funhouse was streaming it together, and they were watching it all together with some old members. And one dude is just watching the trailer for it. He's like, "What's his name? Like fucking John or something?" Like making fun of the Halo guy. And they're like, "Yeah, that's his name." He's like, "What? His name's actually John? The Halo guy's name is John." Like freaking out over it. I had no idea. Chief? Yeah, Master Chief's name is John.
Huh.
Isn't that just like the most fucking boring ass, like regular ass name that you would have never expected your hero in this series, where like he's taken out countless aliens trying to save the entire universe again and again? Like, wouldn't you expect his name to be something a little bit different than just John?
Yeah, no, it's just maybe to make you feel like he's just like the any man, kind of thing. Well, I know they purposely didn't show you his face for a very long time for you to be like, doesn't matter what he looks like, you are Master Chief, right, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And that's like a really big motif in a lot of different games. Yeah, and
I know that like they were like toying at like showing what he looked like for 4 or whatever. Like it was like we're gonna see his face or whatever, because 3 ended with him like going back into like cryo sleep or some shit like that. But I do remember like seeing for like it wasn't it was Halo, but they didn't have Master Chief in it. It was just they had other Spartans and stuff, and you got to see the other Spartans like in like the ships, like, and they're just so much bigger than like normal humans or whatever, and they have like their masks off, and they look terrifying, like because they're genetically modified, like either had like really pasty skin and like these weird looking eyes and stuff. Like, I don't want to see what Master Chief looks like if this is how the other Spartans look like. Fuck that. But yeah, that's Halo talk for people who are wondering.
Yeah. Still, I'm listening to you and I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
I recognize those words now. But
the last thing I want to talk about, which is pretty cool. Sierra and I decided to buy a PC for the sole purpose of playing Fall Guys. You and I were talking about it last week, and I was like, yeah, I remember you talking about it last year, about, showing me the game, and it looked really fun. You sent me the Funhouse thing. I was like, God, I really want to fucking play this, but I can't play it on Mac, and I could play it on PlayStation, but you want to play it on computer. It's like, I don't want to I don't want to not play it with my friend, right? It's like,
I mean, yeah, the only reason I want it on computer is because, I mean, I'm going to have a computer forever. I'm going to be able to play it on other people's computers, whatever. Yeah. Versus PlayStation, where PlayStation 5 comes out soon. I don't know. I'm sure this is also going to be on PlayStation 5, but I would rather have it just as something that I could access at any point without struggle.
Yeah. So I was like, guess I got to talk to Sarah and bite the bullet. Had to convince her to.
She's been wanting to buy a PC for over a year.
Yeah, no, it was really easy. It was very much just like, I looked at her and go, "You want to buy a PC?" And she's like, "Sure." I was like, "Today." And she's like, "Okay." I was like, "All right, problem solved." Here we go. I was like, there is no okay, whatever. So we bought it, and it's supposed to come in on Thursday. And I was like, I was so close because the game came out on the 4th, which was today that we're recording, which is the past from when this thing is aired. I was like, we don't get to play it on the day it drops. No, but I did get Saturday off, so
dude, we're gonna have so much fun from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m.
That's how early you're gonna start playing.
24 hours, baby.
That's disgusting.
8 to 8.
I don't know if I could play that long.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that either.
Yeah,
I could not imagine me being awake and able to play a game like that at 8 a.m.
Yeah, on a Saturday? No way.
You got to ease into that, baby. We just had a full ass week. We just stayed up until midnight playing Fall Guys. I'm not waking up that early.
Yeah. So that's exciting. I'm really excited to start playing Fall Guys with my boy. So I mean, as long as the PC comes out on time, that should be the plan for this weekend, which I'm looking forward to. And in other news, which I did forget to talk about last week, me and Sierra finally got our fridge that we bought. It is fucking massive.
Honestly,
so
when I
big.
saw it, I was like, all right, so that's really fucking deep.
Yeah.
Does it have enough room to breathe? Does it have space above it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's just thick, like a chunk. Yeah. But it's a little bit taller than I am, but it's great. Our last fridge, there's nothing wrong with our last fridge. The last fridge was fine. It was just your very basic old white fridge,
with that weird crumbly texture going on or whatever.
No, it didn't have that actually. No, I know exactly what texture you're talking about.
Okay, yeah.
That super trash stucco-y texture or whatever. It's
well, because all of my walls have texture on it that look kind of like the way that
the fridge feels.
The metal
I got that too,
fridge
bro.
Stuff. Yeah, exactly. So you ain't got that old wall fridge. No. You got some even more boring than that shit.
Yeah, it's just smooth, just fucking smooth, flat white stuff. And the thing is, it's just it wasn't, the fridge we had before that was newer than this fridge, but not as new as the fridge we have now. And it's just so when Sierra and I would buy stuff or have leftovers, it would fit fine. And this one, we were packing shit in, the freezer wasn't breathing. It made a lot of noise, it would just start the compressor would start going off. And I was just do you just want to buy a fridge? It's an investment that we have, and it's gonna be new, so it's gonna last for years. And then if we move, we can take it with us. And if we move far away and we can't, it's not worth taking with us, it'd be easy to sell because it's a fridge. Obviously I'm not gonna get the same amount of money back, but it's gonna be do you want this fridge? Look at it. And they go, yeah, okay, cool. They sell themselves, right? Because it's gonna be cheaper than buying a brand new one somewhere. So that's our idea.
And that's such an easy sell too. Just we're moving. That's why we're getting rid of it.
What's wrong with the fridge?
Perfect.
I can't take it with me. Yeah.
I wish I could. It's too big.
The biggest thing that I was concerned about was once I saw it was the guys had to take off the doors and the hinges that it comes with to make it inside. Take it inside. And I was like, fuck, if I to take this bitch out, I have to also learn I have to remember how to do that. I mean, I can look it up. I was like, God damn it, for whenever the day is that we decide to move and take this thing out.
Well, you just can't. You have to buy that house now.
Yeah. Dude, they use those weird things where it's like a baby Bjorn and has like a really long strap that goes underneath the fridge and to lift things. I've only ever seen those like in stores. I've never seen anybody use them. They look so fucking sick. Like,
they work really well.
I don't fucking get it. I don't know when humanity evolved to the level we are now, but we're at our fucking peak, boys. If we can solve that, we can for sure solve the fucking coronavirus. We can do it, dude. We can do it. If we can learn how to pick up fridges with fucking a piece of cloth, it hurts my head to think of how advanced we have gotten. That's us. USA #1. Anyways, man, that's all I've been up to. What about you? Tell me about the games you've been playing. I watched some more. I finished the first season of Gravity Falls.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think I'm like 5 seasons into the next season, the second season. It's fun. I'm excited. To see how it ends. It's a bummer that's really short, though. It's like there's only 40 episodes, I think. 20
it's pretty
apiece.
short. It's not bad.
Yeah, but it's a good watch. I really like the animation. I really like the characters. I really like the voice actors. It's fun. So I'm having a good time with that.
Well, I'm glad. Gravity Falls is just a fun time. It's a good time. Since we just talked about, or you were roasting the U.S. for absolutely fucking up all the coronavirus shit, let me just tell you about the other day on Friday when we had somebody moving in, and we have a big-ass sign that says, please wear a mask right when you get to the door. And this woman comes by and she's like, hey, I'm here to pick up my keys. I'm sorry I don't have a mask. I'm like, that's okay. Let me grab you one. So I grabbed a single-use mask, and I turned around, had to get gloves, because I want to make sure it's all sanitary. And by the time that I got back to her with her mask, I saw that she had one in her hand that she pulled out of her purse, but didn't want to say anything. So she just put that back in her purse and grabbed the single-use mask from me. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, so you just fucking lied and said you didn't have a mask. Bro. And now you're just wasting that? Like, we could have used that. Somebody else might have wanted to use that. Why are you lying about that shit? Like, what the fuck, dude? You're just, like, risking everyone here. Or at least, like, even if there's no threat, even if there's no chance in hell that we would ever get it from this chick, there's zero possibility. Just the habit, man. You gotta show people that you are at least trying. You gotta show people what to do. I don't know, man. It's just fucking wild that she just straight up lied.
When I'm at the restaurant working on Saturdays, like, it's gotten a lot better where people are more like,
it's consistent. Just a part of it. Yeah.
It's consistent. They're like, okay with it. And maybe I get a couple people complain. Usually I can even catch them at the door. They come in and I go, hey, where's your, you gotta wear your mask. And sometimes it's like people, I tell them in Spanish, like, hey, amigo, they don't have a máscara puesta or whatever. And they'll just turn around and leave. And like, okay, well, that's their choice.
That's fine. Yeah. Like, we don't want them in here anyway.
Like, so. Yeah. Well, like, it's a really easy thing to do. And like, you're wearing it for like maybe 2 minutes while I take your order. And then you go outside. But like, I'm really cool about it. Like I'm very like patient and so it's not a big deal. My brother-in-law who works at the restaurant also, sometimes people don't come with the mask. He fucking lets them know. Like he's this towering figure. He's like, hey, put on your fucking mask. And one guy was just like, I have a mask. He's like, well, put it on your fucking face then. I was just like, yeah, you tell him, Brandon.
I'm like, I have a mask. I don't give a shit if you have one. Like, put it on.
Yeah. Or I love my favorite one too is like, they'll have the mask and they start ordering and then they just like, they'll pull it down to be like, I was like, I can hear you just fine. So put it leave it on your face.
The only time that I have to do that is when I'm on the phone. And I know for a fact, like me holding a phone up to my mask is just like,
mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
But man, just fucking bum me out. I'm like, seriously? Everyone else has at least either gone away or been like, I don't have a mask, and like tried to cover their mouth somehow with their shirt or something. Oh man, that one was just so dumb. And then she had some issues going on in her apartment. She just moved in, some weird shit. I don't know what it was. And she was like, they don't have to wear a mask. I'm just like, why? Why would you tell people that? Like, what's wrong with you, dude? It just blows my mind. Just like, why? What's wrong with you?
She's okay, man. She's fucking obviously fucking not able to get sick or get other people sick. She's an outlier.
Some wild shit. I don't know. It requires no effort. Like, fuck it. Anyways, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake like past couple of weeks. It's been a lot of fun. I still have a couple more chapters to go, but the last section that I played through was you're breaking into this facility that is like full of all the bad guys and whatnot, and you have to get up to a certain floor, and the safest way to get there is by taking the stairs. So you have to go all the way up to the 59th floor, just hoofing it. And it starts out and the characters are sprinting like they have been, and then one starts falling behind, and then you kind of slow down a little bit, and then everyone's just like, by the end of it, just slowly trudging up the stairs, and they're all like panting and like, what the fuck? Why do we have to do this? And I love that, man.
What happens if you would just stop? Like if you stopped for 10 minutes and gave yourself a break, would they feel better?
I stopped for about a minute to see if that happened. It didn't.
Oh, they were just it
was just a story.
I think it'd be pretty funny though. You're just like, all right, we go up for 10 minutes, then we take a 5-minute break, and then they have another 5 minutes of energy. That'd be really funny.
Yeah,
like
well,
a funny mechanic.
The reason that I thought about that is once you get up to floor 30 and you're getting a little bit slower and whatnot, one of the characters is just like, oh, okay, I can't do it. I need a break. And he just stops and he hangs out for a little bit. And then you hear him go, all right. And he just like starts sprinting up the stairs. And I'm like, maybe I'll get extra energy if I stop.
Is that the guy with the machine hand gun thing? Yeah, I can imagine it being his character, yeah.
Like, all right. And just starts going up. But man, it's been such a fun game. And I'm really sad to see that I'm almost done with it. There was finally like a really challenging segment in it for me, because everything else, like I had a little bit of trouble with one of the summons just because I didn't spec correctly. It was an ice chick and I didn't have any fire stuff to like hurt her with or whatever, so I had to redo that a couple of times, and then finally decided, fuck it, I'll just respec and do what they want me to do. But then I got to a point where you have to fight a Leviathan, which is a water monster thing, and it's fucking huge and it does a ton of damage, and you don't have like any huge electric attacks. You just have some like regular ones, and after fighting it for a little bit, it does a huge move called Tidal Wave, and it takes out everybody. It just does huge damage across the map. It's a big old animation thing, and I was trying again and again to figure out how to get past it, and the times that I did get past it, I either staggered the monster so it disrupted it and then it like fell down and it gave me a large opportunity to do damage, or I also survived it by just having the bulkiest character with the most health just live through the damage and then revive everyone else. And I did that a couple of times, and it felt fucked up and wrong, and I felt like I was maybe doing something wrong, so I looked online for any advice how to do it, and then people were just like, yeah, the game wants you to either stagger it before it does this, which is a really, really hard thing to do, or just have the characters have enough health and survive through that attack. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, so my method, I guess, is just let this dude live and revive everyone else.
How often do you like look up stuff like that for games? Like, do you try
I try not to, yeah.
Okay.
So for that, I did it for like almost an hour until I was like, I'm doing something wrong. And it was like, okay, you're not doing anything wrong. You're supposed to do it the cheap way. And I'm like, I didn't want to do it the cheap way, but that's the way that it wants you to. Wants you to just survive the attack by having enough health and being topped off at that much health. But yeah, I try not to look things up like that, because I feel like part of the challenge is you figuring out the method behind it. But if you figure something out and you're able to get past it, but like you feel like there's a better way, sometimes I'll look things up at that point, like, all right, I already did it, but how would like a professional do this that like plays the game nonstop, speedruns it, whatever the fuck. I always like seeing that other perspective and just knowing like the challenging parts of the game. Did I overcome it like everyone else, or did I do some weird shit? Like whatever. Or I'll just be fucking stuck and then I'll look it up for any tips. And sometimes it is like some absolute bullshit tip that you would have never known. Other times it's very obvious and it's like, yeah, I forgot about that. Totally. And sometimes it's just hard. That's the gamer life. You know how it is.
Yeah, well, weren't older games just harder than games nowadays? Like, and since this is a remake of they didn't change the mechanics of the game, right? They just changed.
Oh, they completely changed it. It's a totally different game.
I thought it was the same game.
No, otherwise I wouldn't be playing it. Honestly, because like turn-based games are pretty cool and fun, but they're something about it makes it so I have a lot of fun and then I stop having fun really suddenly and I'm just done. The way that Final Fantasy VII Remake has changed the gameplay is in a really captivating, natural way to me, to where it still has that turn-based combat, but it doesn't feel like it's there until later on. Instead, what you do is you have to like. Normally, it would be like, all right, you have to wait, and then you choose like what kind of attacks and stuff to do, right? And then like your meter fills up, and you're able to do it again. But it's essentially just waiting. Now, while you're just doing anything as that character, your like meter fills up faster. But you can also dodge attacks. You could do different kinds of attacks and damage and stuff. So you have like a lot more stuff going on in that time in between you doing things. You could still do damage and kill enemies totally fine if you just use the regular attacks, but it makes it incredibly easier if you're able to do those attacks, fill up your gauge, and when that gauge is full, you have a choice of different things. Like, I want to do a really big attack to one guy. I want to do like a triple attack to these guys. I want to heal my team, like whatever it is. You're building up that meter to be able to do any kind of specific action. But there's so much time in between. So you have 3 characters. They're all building their meters by doing attacks. And you're playing as one. You go in, you do like a hit, fill up that meter, do an extra attack, switch over to another character, do a couple of hits. You have a new attack to do. Go to the third character, just do that one attack, and then switch back over to the first one, do a few more. It's just a whole bunch of swapping back and forth between characters. So the gameplay feels way different rather than it being like, it's this character's turn. It's this character's turn. It's like, it's any character you want, and you fill up the gauge at different proportionate like amounts that essentially whether or not you're playing actively or if you're playing more like passively, it'll fill up different ways.
Yeah, accordingly. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's really different than it used to be, because it used to just be, attack,
your turn,
spell,
my turn,
like special attack, whatever.
Sure.
So it feels very, very modern. Like the modern evolution of that style of gameplay, where it still does have that turn-based element of, all right, we're swapping between characters, doing their big attacks, waiting for the meters to fill up, but we have a lot of in-between time, and we can actually dodge the enemy attacks instead of just eating those attacks and healing up after it. Like, you can actually do shit. Anyways, that's been a lot of fun. Played a tiny bit of Ghost of Tsushima. We finished up with the second act, so we fully explored like 2/3 of the game, and it's gorgeous, man. There are so many cool little secrets to go and find, and we got to do this quest, which I've talked about the game a little bit before. You go and you follow around foxes, and they lead you to these special shrines, and that's just like an extra little bonus thing. And you could find this bonus quest where like there's a fox that's just like waiting for you, and you're like, oh, hey, what's up, fox? And it's leading you through, and you see these other foxes, and they're all scared, and you found like a dead fox. So you're trying to find who the fuck killed this fox. Nobody kills foxes. And then you find the people and you kill them, and then all the foxes come together and they like thank you and go off into the bamboo. And it's like a really cool, fun little thing, but it's also like the most hatred I felt in the game so far. They're just like, the Mongols killed everyone. They captured my uncle. They've killed all of my friends. They've turned everyone against me. And I'm like, yeah, but they killed a fox, and these people are more important than anyone. The main villain, fuck him. It's actually the person that killed this fox. Fuck that guy.
Are you still playing the avoid talking about your uncle game?
We're on 10, dude. We've made it 10 onsen sessions, getting the hot springs, reflecting on things that aren't our uncle. But man, so many times it's like, all right, reflect on the samurai code or reflect on my uncle. It's like literally, ooh, my uncle's a samurai. He taught me about the code. I don't really know. And yeah, we've gotten really lucky with a lot of it.
That's good, man.
It's been a fun ass stupid game. I think people should play it. I think most people would probably enjoy it if you get into it. And we just unlocked one of the last abilities, which is Ghost Stance. And the whole game, it's called Ghost of Tsushima. People are like calling you the ghost because you're going around and you're just killing all the Mongols. And they just know it's some like samurai that should be dead but isn't, that's killing everyone. Because they killed all the samurai, so they didn't think you were alive. Anyways, Ghost Stance allows you to like make it go black and white, and then you go up to enemies who are terrified of you, and you slice them down in one hit. You could like decapitate people. It's where the game gets violent for no reason. It gives you a few free kills, and everyone is just scared and like running away while it's in black and white. And when you kill them, it like flashes red and like everything's all red and bloody and stuff. So it's very cool. It reminds me a lot of like Kurosawa's old ass samurai movies. It's sick. It's sick as fuck. I love it.
It sounds good.
So that's pretty fun. And then going into like this last section of it, people have said, the story of Ghost of Tsushima gets so much better. It gets really like sad and like emotional during season 3 or season third 3, act,
episode
season
2.
3, each season, Well, we're in the mountains, so it feels like we've been through different seasons, Now we're in the winter season. Anyways, it's been a lot of fun. They said it was going to get emotional, and I don't think it's gotten there yet, but they definitely do a couple of things where like I think they wanted a really emotional response, but I'm kind of just like, well, I don't want to spoil anything because it is major like story spoilers. But man, I don't think the story is going to hit me the way that everyone says it's hitting them. I think anime spoiled me. That's what I'm going to go ahead and say.
Yeah, it's like, it's good. It's not like Hana good. Like, it's not gonna fucking for sure make you cry.
No, it's definitely not hitting that level for me. So anyways, it's a good time. Do recommend Ghost of Tsushima for all those gamer girls out there looking for a new game to girl up. Then I don't think I've been doing much else. I watched some more Legend of Korra with Kate. We made it through season 2. I was telling you about that earlier. Season 2 is my least favorite season, but it establishes some really good stuff and it has some amazing episodes in it. But overall, the story and the characters and just what happens is kind of a disappointment from The Last Airbender and the first season of Korra being this kind of morally gray thing, and it wound up being a really interesting villain. Instead, the whole plot of the second season is like, why isn't anyone fucking listening to Mako? Like, why the fuck? This all could have been prevented. He figured it out like the second episode, but we're just going to ignore him the whole time?
Was that that's the season where they introduced the eccentric billionaire guy, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's his name again? Barrick.
And Julie.
Do the thing.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude, I agree.
It has some great stuff.
It's a very weak season, but it's still really cool stuff in it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Nuktuk, hero of the South.
See, you remember that good shit. Aubrey Plaza plays one of the twins.
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah. She plays one of the fucking twins that's fucking gonna marry Mako. Yes, my sweets.
No, Mary Bolin.
No, Bolin. Bolin. It's good stuff, man.
Good times. So wrapped up some of that. I don't remember if I watched any other noteworthy television. I'm gonna say that was probably it. So that's my TV talk.
I forgot to mention, I also started watching another thing.
Oh shit! What?
I need to watch stuff just to hear background noise while I'm working on my animation. I am now on season 3, episode 9 of Family Matters. Do you know what show that is?
Yeah, it's
okay. Well, some people don't know what it is.
No. It's an old ass 90s sitcom.
Yeah, it's the one with Steve Urkel. Did I do that? And I was
it 80s? Did it start in the 80s?
It might have been like late 80s, early 90s, yeah. But I saw a lot of reruns of it when I was younger on like the ABC Family.
Yeah, so what are you watching it on?
Hulu. And the reason I'm watching it on Hulu is because I was like, I need to watch something, and I popped up Hulu. I was like, maybe I'll watch Gravity Falls. Like, I actually want to sit and watch Gravity Falls though. And then I was like, hey, maybe you'll like this other show. I was like, fucking Family Matters. You got 9 seasons of it. Okay, I'm in, boys. So it's been good. I like catch myself singing like the intro song all the time, and it's great because like it's so simple. Like an idiot can follow along. So like while I'm working, I can be like, what's the plot story? What did Steve do? Okay, Carl's sorry though. All right, cool. And then I just kind of go back to whatever. So yeah, I've been watching that. I was talking to my brother earlier this week, and he's just like, we were talking about TV. It's interesting. I guess he got a Fire Stick that's like jailbroken or something. So
Okay.
he's like the ability to watch a bunch of stuff. He goes like, hey, have you seen Shameless? Like, no, I've never tried it. He's like, but I've heard good things. And he's like, yeah, I started watching that, blah, blah. And he goes, you know what I just finished, dude? He's like, he's trippy. He goes, I just finished every episode of Even Stevens. And he goes, that shit was wild. That's it. He holds up the rock horns. Yeah. And he goes, that shit was wild. And I was just like, dude,
so
okay.
goddamn funny.
Yeah. So I shared like, oh, I'm watching
Wait,
Family
did he
Matters.
watch the movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, good. That's important.
So me and Jose are just like sitting there, like throwing like Even Stevens catchphrase back to each other. And he's just like, Ren, you're letting all the skeeters in. And I was like, oh, dude, I remember that. Episode 12, you know, like we're kind of like going back and forth. Like,
Jesus, you remember that?
No, we don't know them episodes.
Okay.
We're like, we'll talk about like, oh yeah. And then, you know, this is what happened to Donnie and shit like that. And he's like, and then him and I got to a quick argument about Malcolm in the Middle because we used to watch that a lot too. And he goes, yeah, man, I'm going to restart again. There's like 17 seasons of that show. And I go, no, that's wrong. I was like, there's no
wrong.
way there's that many. And he goes like, no, man, there's like a lot. Like, I know there's a lot. I was like, and I go, no, there's like 7 tops. Like, there's no way. And he's just like, okay. And he starts like texting, like, you know, and he goes,
there's somewhere between 6 and 8.
yeah. I was just like, there's no way. And he pulls up, and I was right. I knew, like, I think I got it spot on. And he goes like, I'm telling you, it's like, there's just no way there's that many seasons of that show. That would make it one of the longest running shows on television ever. You know, I was just like, no way. As much as I love Malcolm in the Middle, there's no way that shit got over 15 seasons.
No.
But yeah, so it's a good time to watch, I guess, like old television right now, to just kind of vibe out, I guess.
Yeah.
What about you?
Which actually reminds me, I've been watching more Adventure Time and stuff.
Okay.
Still nothing special. I think I'm almost done with season 3. It's still fun. It just lots of parts of it are a lot of fun. With some parts of it being a little bit too
Adventure Timey.
Just yeah, I would say like it felt like it was doing its own thing for like a certain period, and then it feels like it starts kind of following a similar formula of the episodes of like introduce quirky new character, and then you have to do like a bunch of bullshit with that, whether or not like they have to stay home for it or like do other stuff. Some parts of it feel a little bit too cartoonish, like Lady Rainicorn's family is going to come and meet Jake for the first time, and they don't know that he's actually a dog, and there was the whole Rainicorn and the dog wars and whatnot, and they used to eat they used to eat humans and a whole bunch of stuff. So they find out Finn is a human and he's a human butler,
and they want to eat him. Yeah,
it just feels very like sitcom-y and not very like Adventure Timey. So I think that's kind of why I fell off of the show, is for things like that are just these ridiculous sitcom type situations, but it's a cartoon, so it can be anything it wants to be. But it felt like it was just following too similar of like a formula. Where like when Community takes that kind of like tropey sitcom thing and it totally turns it on its head and does something fresh and new, Adventure Time just follows the same formula and puts it into its own show. If that makes sense.
I guess I understand what you're saying. Do Lady Rainicorn's parents speak English?
I mean, they have to have translator boxes as well.
They have translator boxes.
They all speak, they all speak Korean.
Right. Yeah, man, I remember that very... That's fun. That's such a funny episode. I remember that episode very well. I also remember the part where like Jake becomes a dad and he has like all the dogs and or the Rainicorn dog hybrid things or whatever, and like they grow up super quick, so he's like freaking out, and then
just for like a day, yeah.
And then then they come out in like later episodes and they're now adults, you know, and there's like, come on, Dad. I think it's wild that this show like takes things sometimes a little too far. You know, I was like, you telling me Jake fucked Lady Rainicorn, you know, and now she's having babies, you know? I was like, oh my God, that is too much. Their bits wouldn't even match up. They don't have the right chromosomes.
You don't know how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I don't know how many chromosomes a Lady Rainicorn has. So,
enough.
I guess.
Yeah.
What about anime, man? You been watching anime besides, fucking Goblin Slayer, Goblin Crown?
All right. Goblin of High School. Really fun, great time, just consistently a fun show. So yeah, God of High School I would recommend to everyone that's looking for just a fun, not super serious time. it's gotten into. I haven't seen the latest episode. I think it came out yesterday or something like that.
What's the last one you saw? Was it the wedding one? That's the last one I saw.
No, I don't think they decided to. Maybe they just. I don't remember exactly, but it did give the girl's backstory. Yeah.
No, the you would if I said the one where they go to the wedding, you would very clearly know what I'm talking about. That's episode 4, and then episode 5 came out today, which is like the final round of the tournament.
I did see episode 4.
Okay,
I'm just not remembering wedding stuff.
Okay, so she was gonna get married, and then the two bros come and stop her at the altar.
It's also hard for me. Yeah. That happened. It's hard for me to like remember because it happens so differently in the webtoon.
Oh, I didn't read that far.
Yeah. So it happened very quickly in the webtoon, opposed to how it's kind of happening now. Like they already established that this was a situation that was going to happen, and then there's all this fighting and stuff going on, and it flashes back and forth between the fighting and their stories or whatever. So they definitely changed the way that this happens.
So you did finish that episode?
Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about how that episode ends, and it's the semifinal match between the karate dude and the sword chick, and the karate dude beats the fucking shit out of her.
Yeah, he like thrashes her because he's essentially like he realizes he's gonna have to take his boys down, and like he has to
save
kind of
his other boy.
Yeah, he has to kind of cut ties with them because he just has to win. And his best friend is suffering hardcore and is kind of a little bit too not alive anymore.
It was just like a really good episode of like there was like the bits of her like why she's getting married, the levity of it, the jokes, and then like the boys coming in and like
and that's why I couldn't remember the wedding stuff. I'm like, I just remember he got really emotional about the whole cancer thing, and
well, that's how so it's like it's this whole episode, right, about the girl character for the most part, right, centric around her. They come and kind of rescue the day. She rescues herself because she don't need no man. And then the very ending is like literally like maybe 3 minutes. It's just like he sees his boy like flatlining. He goes to the tournament and he beats the shit out of her. Like he's attacking her where she has like her fucking sword wound, and it's just like him crossing the main character in the hallway. It's just like, I'll see you in the fucking finals. I was like, oh my god, bro! Like,
and main character who just wants to be best friends with everyone all the time is like, yo, what the fuck? I'm fucking mad. I'm gonna kick his ass. She didn't deserve that. But he's also like, what's wrong with my boy? I want him to feel better. This isn't right.
It was just a really good episode. Like it had like so much for it, and then it ended super strong. So I'm super excited for this last episode because it's the most recent episode, because it's supposed to be the last one of the fight. And since I don't know who wins, I have a feeling I know who's going to win, but I was like, bro, can we do something a little different? I don't know, but I'm excited for episode 5 of God of High School.
Hell yeah. And then Digimon, I don't know what Digimon's doing. It's gotten to the point where it's like the whole gang is kind of together and whatever. I just realized though, like over the weekend, I really hope Wizardmon is a part of Digimon, like retelling. You're probably not going to remember him until you see him, but he's this like kind of ghoulish looking vampire-y kid who has like a little skull emblem on his neck, and he has a like coat that covers his entire mouth.
Face, and he's got like a witch hat and like
he's got big old ears
and a staff that's like a sun at the end of it.
Yeah, he looks fucking evil, and he's like, I'm super good and I'm helping you guys out, and I'm like legit just a good guy, and anybody could look like anything. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Wizardmon, you're sick as hell. Let me do some wizard shit with you. So I'm really excited about the potential of him coming back, but I'm also not expecting it. I just got hyped about that. So that's kind of my Digimon perspective.
So he starts off as Demi Maramon, which is like a fireball, and then he turns into he's Candlemon. I very vividly remember Candlemons being bad guys. They turn into Wizardmons, and then you can go to either Phantomon or Metal Phantomon, and then Mistymon or Dynasmon. I'd never seen a Wizardmon evolve.
That's the shit that I don't know if it's like in the games only or like in the cards,
if it's like in the show, or canon or something like that.
You never really know where all that comes from because there's so many different like Digimon games and sources that had so many different things, and you're like, yep, this is just the straight evolution of Digimon. They're like, by the way, They also have this toy evolution that branches off right here. And then you also have those metal evolutions. And you have fusions. And you're like, why does this have so many things? It was just that straight line. Where did these other ones come in? And they're like, oh yeah, Digimon Cyber Sleuth added this line. And then if you go back and you're playing Digimon World, they added this one. You know, all that weird shit.
Yeah, dude, it's wild.
Stupid ass franchise, video game, anime bullshit, all that. Watched a part of Ranman, the newest not the newest anymore, but the one that you watched.
The Wacky Races one?
Yeah, you could remember the name now.
Wacky
right?
Races.
It's back on air. You can remember it. It's Pari Ranman.
I don't want to. It's so much easier to say Wacky Races.
Yeah.
What episode did you watch? The episode where she's racing, where it's the Chinese girl getting respect? Is that the one you saw?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the one that you watched last is the one that I just watched, so that's doing good. Really, really just a solid way to come back, I would say.
I was able to watch the one after that, and it's like the day before the race. Like they're all like meeting together to go to like a dinner, and like they're gonna pull for like start position and stuff, like where you're gonna start, and like we finally get like the race. We finally have it starts. They're going for it, and it was like we see more of the other racers and. They talk a little bit about like what they're driving and stuff. It's like, but it's like it feels really good because like I'm like, dude, the show started really strong. I was just like, dude, this looks like this insane race,
and then it disappeared,
and then it goes away. It's just like we're gonna race, but just not yet. And it's like 5 episodes, and they finally started the race, and I'm fucking stoked. Episode 5 also gives us a nice fucking gung fu, fucking characters just shooting. Six shooters at each other and like fucking karate chopping and blocking it away with other guns and stuff. It's insane. It's a good show. I feel like it's really entertaining.
Yeah, it's very over the top, but it also has these interesting characters that I want to see more of, and I want to see kind of what situations they get into with each other. Very excited to watch more of that. And then the Demon King Academy shit, whatever the fuck it's called. I actually don't remember the name of this one.
I'll look it up real quick.
But yeah, he's still just being a big old demon boy, and he got betrayed and all that stuff going on. It's a whole switcheroo-ski. This show's fine. It's it's still just keeping that. It's fine. It's keeping that kind of notoriety.
The Misfit of Demon King Academy.
Misfit of Demon King Academy. The Demon King.
Demon King. Yeah. Wacky Races. I get it.
Wacky Races. Yeah. Hell yeah. So it's fine. I don't know. What the fuck else am I watching? I want to save Rent a Girlfriend for last, but I can't remember what else there is. The Millionaire Balance Unlimited, Millionaire Detective, whatever. Haven't gotten around to that yet, but I do know that the new episode is out. At least I saw it being advertised as being out, so should be. But man, Rent a Girlfriend is just that like trashy fun time that I'm looking forward to every time. It's so good. So where we're at with the story now, things have gotten a little bit twisty, and he tried to hook up with his ex, and she was like, "No way, Jose." And then it's getting a little bit more tense with like the relationship with his fake girlfriend, and our main character is just a piece of shit.
Oh yeah. I think in episode 4, which is what's the most recent one, the one that I saw. I think is that the one you're on, where you're caught up with?
Yeah.
He gets one of his really good friends beats the shit out of him. Like they get into like a fist fight, and I was like, fucking finally, someone's beating up the main character like he fucking deserves, because he's such a fucking asshat. Like he does a great job of like not making me like him, but I'm being like, come on, man, do the right thing. And sometimes
it's like you want to pull for him, but you're also like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's like maybe you do deserve to be sad and alone because you're a dumb piece of shit, because you can't keep your stuff together. Me and Sierra, is one of Sarah's and I's favorite fucking catchphrases is, hey, virgin's gonna virgin, like it's like that gets brought up so like all the time in the show. I'm just like, yep, virgins are gonna virgin. So it's a good show. It's a really fun.
What does that mean to you, Juan?
I don't know what it means, but virgin's gonna virgin. And they say it like,
so
it's
where
like
do you say it?
When do I say it?
Yeah.
No, I don't say it. I'm just saying it's a thing. That's
I thought you
show.
and Sierra were saying it to each other now.
No,
Okay.
no. It's a thing in the show. Whenever it pops up, me and Sierra get a real kick out of it. We're like, when we're just like, virgin's got a virgin, because it means nothing to me. Because I'm not a virgin. I've had sex. I promise, at least the once. Mm-hmm. I think. But yeah, it's great. It does have like those ecchi elements for all you fiends out there, but it's not like super over the top or like pointless. It makes sense why our character acts the way he is. He's surrounded by gorgeous women, and one of them wants him because she's jealous, and the other one obviously doesn't want him, but is eventually going to fall in love with him, because that's how these shows kind of all seem to go.
Seems that way.
Yeah, and I also really like that we are 4 episodes in and we haven't met the other 2 girls that are like
which
in
is
the intro
cool.
and outro.
Yeah,
which I'm really appreciative of, because like when it starts off, I'm like, oh, this does feel like it's gonna be like harem element, because like it's him and 4 other girls that are just like dancing around him, and usually we'll see all the girls very quickly and they all kind of just get in there in the mix, but this one's taking its time. So we've only dealt with the 2 of them, and I'm assuming that eventually we'll start adding a 3rd one and hopefully the 4th one later on. But yeah, I'm glad that it's not like too over the top and all in your face at once. So yeah, that's a good job. Good decision, Rent a Girlfriend. Fucking parcel those bitches out little by little.
Hell yeah. Would you describe it as the modern White Album?
What is that? What is... I don't know what that means, so I cannot say yes.
It's the modern version of White Album.
I was like, okay.
Mean?
Okay, no, I get it now. You're talking about the anime, the White Album.
Yeah, this is
the
anime
Weezer,
time.
Not the Weezer White Album. I was just like, okay.
There's a White Album that Weezer has?
They made a White Album after all their...
Why would...
Anyways, yeah, no.
Have you ever listened to the Gray Album?
By...
who the fuck is it? I don't remember the DJ's name or whatever, but it's a combination of the Beatles' White Album and Jay-Z's The Black Album.
Oh yeah. Danger Mouse,
DJ Danger Mouse. Yeah.
No, I have not, but that sounds like an interesting thing, because white and black make gray matter.
Yeah.
Fucking Walter White. That's cool. I never heard it.
Yeah, check out the Gray Album.
Is this the modern White Album?
Is so good.
Is this the modern White Album? Yeah, I would say it's a better version of White Album, because White Album was fucking old, and it was that time. Yes, because the main character in that show also sucked. Why did he suck such ass? Why were women just
anime, dude?
God, now I want to. I never even got to the Christmas episode of the White Album. It was our Christmas episode show, and the Christmas episode
couldn't tough it out.
It was like episode 14, and I was like, I could only make it to 12. Like, I couldn't keep going. And you're just like, oh, dude, you were right there. I was just
right there.
I couldn't do it. I might as well just go watch the White Album too, because it's fucking out there.
Yeah, which came out like 10 years later. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's gonna be all the anime that I've watched.
I think that's all the anime I watched. Wacky Races, Appare Ranman. Rent a Girlfriend, and then God of High School. And like I said, I'm behind an episode on that. I wanted to keep watching Decadence.
That show.
But that has, I think, 4 episodes out, or 5 right now, and I haven't got around to them. And I still need to catch up with Digimon. But yeah, there is cool stuff. I haven't found myself having to like watch the 2nd season of Fire Force. I thought that might have to be the case, because like there wasn't too much that I was liking this season.
Oh, okay. I'm like, where are we going?
Because, I already saw the 1st season. I was like, well, if there's nothing else to watch. But I feel like with these shows that came back, and Rent a Girlfriend and God of High School, I feel like my anime, fucking thirst is at least quenched enough for me not to have to do that.
Oh, yeah. Also, I'm watching Lapis Relights. I forgot about that. Yeah, the last episode was fine. Whatever. It feels like really okay. It's magical girls doing possible music performance things, and they're in school and whatever. Fuck it.
It's like the modern day White Album 2. So
yeah, it's the modern day White Album 2 is how I would also describe it.
Dude, White Album did have music elements to it, right? Wasn't one of them a musician or something like that? Like he was dating a pop star or an idol or something. That was White Album.
She was an idol, but I don't remember her doing music stuff.
What do idols do? She sang.
I mean, I guess that's fair. Idols. Idols are just fucking like they're like pop stars, but they're not. So
Pop
like,
stars just say okay.
I know.
Fine.
Well, that's why I'm like, but they're not. So that's why I'm like, I don't really know if they sing because idols don't always. I don't know.
So if you want to watch White Album Season 1, instead you should watch fucking
Rent a Girlfriend.
Rent a Girlfriend instead. That's what I gotta say.
Man, we got through it.
You got any news for me this week? Because last time I feel like we didn't have too much news.
I still don't have a lot this week, but let's talk about the news.
Yeah, let's do the news. That's what we do next.
First off, voice actor Toshihiko Seki has been hospitalized for symptoms of COVID-19. A lot of people actually know who he is, not by name, but just the characters he played, like Senketsu from Kill la Kill, the outfit. Mm-hmm. And where I first knew him from was Legato Blue Summers from Trigun. He's been in a whole bunch of different shows. So I'm hoping he pulls through. Hospitalization, though, that's where it gets not chill. So.
Yeah, no, I think I saw this. I'm not super familiar with his work, but I do know that he has done some really dope stuff. Legato's Blue Summers, what a dope ass name for like
Trigun has the sickest names ever, dude. Vash the Stampede, Millions Knives, Stun Gun Millie.
Yeah,
and you got Legato cool. Blue Summers, a whole bunch more.
Yeah, so obviously we're at least you and I hope that he gets well soon and he's okay. So it's a bummer. It sucks that when you fucking people that you heard of or whatever get sick. Like obviously it sucks like when anybody gets sick, but it's like, hey, this person that's done all these amazing things is sick, and you go, I can't do anything to help him. So
it just sucks.
Get well soon, hopefully.
But in better news, the second season of Beastars is set to air January 2021, which means that we'll probably get it like April, May.
Not if I buy that VPN. This fucking bullshit. I'm sick of.
It's true, man. Just go over to Japan and watch it with English subtitles if you can, which I'm pretty sure you can.
I'm so sick of those dope shows getting held hostage by Netflix. I'm so upset.
That's a bummer.
But yeah, that's great. I'm super stoked for season 2 of Beastars because there's still so much more to find out.
Next up, Lisa is going to perform Demon Slayer Infinity Train's theme. Lisa also did Grenge, which is the theme song to Demon Slayer.
Ah, that song is pretty good.
She's done a lot of music. You know Lisa.
I know Lisa.
I'm pretty sure she also did Crossing Time, which is the Sword Art Online Season 1 intro. She probably did other Sword Art intros. You know Lisa.
I know Lisa, bro. We're boys.
Yeah, you guys is boys.
If you could guess how old Lisa is, how old would you guess? Just guess.
36.
Damn, you're really close. She is 33.
Fuck.
Yeah, man.
She's that successful and she's only like a year older than me?
Yeah, sure.
I hope I get to be the lead singer of all these fucking anime theme songs by the time I'm 33. I got a few years yet. I could do it, man.
I think you could get there.
I just have to become good. Hey, in personal news, Tom Nasser, our beautiful artist who makes our intro song, he did a cover of Tame Impala, Lost in Yesterday. And holy shit, it sounds so good. It's the first time you've ever listened to Tame Impala, have it sound like Tame Impala, but you can understand all the lyrics, but it still sounds just like Tame Impala because pretty much everything they have is like, and I wanna get lost to you today. You're like, I don't know what any of those words were, but then you hear Tom sing it and you're like,
oh, I understand.
So they are words.
Is it still on his Instagram?
Oh, you go over to his YouTube page. Just look up Tom Nasser. Boom, he's there. You click the link down in the thing. Anyways, personal news, theme song stuff. Tom Nasser, I love him. He's my beautiful baby boy. And hey, the second fucking time that we've talked about My Hero on Hulu ever, when it was like Hulu has My Hero Academia. Now we're talking about it again. So 2 My Hero Academia OVAs are coming to Hulu on August 16th, which is pretty cool because we haven't seen those and we've been wanting them. they're already existing, in the world, but now they're coming to streaming services we can watch. And the reason I say services is because Hulu gets them exclusively on August 16th. But if you don't have Hulu, it's going to come to whatever platforms you watch My Hero Academia on August 30th.
Okay.
So Crunchyroll's getting it then, and we'll see what happens, whether I Hulu it up or if I just kind of sit around and wait and watch it on Go Crunch.
Okay, well, we'll make sure to put that in our books because that's for sure something that I would be interested in watching.
Yeah, I don't think 2 episodes of like random off-season shit.
No, I don't think it's worth an episode, but it's something we can talk about during anime. Yeah.
We are watching it, baby. Mm-hmm. That's all the news that I have for you.
Dope.
Do you want to talk about Goblin Slayer, Goblin's Crown? Goblin?
Yes, let's talk about Goblin Slayer's Goblin Crown.
All right, so the studio that made it, same studio, White Fox. They're great. They've done Steins Gate, ReZero, The Devil is a Part-Timer. All equally dark shows, I would say. Yeah. Yeah,
probably the darkest shows out there.
Well, because The Devil is a Part-Timer sounds so scary. It's so scary.
It's very dark. He works at Whack Donald's, I think. I think he works at Whack Donald's.
Yeah, he sure does. Anyways, Goblin Slayer, Goblin's Crown, like I said back at the beginning of the episode, you could definitely go into this without seeing the show, but if you have seen the show, skip the first 25 minutes or so. I started at 24 minutes. I could have skipped forward a little bit more, but I wanted to just make sure that 25 wasn't this weird hard number that Juan gave me.
Was it
25 minutes is good, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I feel like that's a good spot.
Then. Otherwise, you're getting recapped pretty hard.
Yeah, it was Mig Ronalds, MG Ronalds.
Mig Ronalds?
Mig Ronalds, that's where the Devil's a Part-Timer works.
Who's Whack Donald's? Whack Donald's is on Ohana, right?
I'll look this up. I love how I gotta look this up.
Hang on, you guys. We'll get to our Goblin Slayer in a minute.
Whack Donald's on Ohana. Okay, we'll go Whack Donald's anime? Because it didn't pop up.
What?
Sorry, it's just really hard. McDonald's is. Where are you from? Nope, doesn't say. It just says hey, it's in a bunch of animes. I'll look into it deeper later. Yeah, I thought 25 minutes was a good time to get you in to check it out. Did you get a peep of him still at the tavern, or did you just instantly get the Boys in the Snow?
No, we were at the tavern because I went to 24 minutes, so we were at the tavern there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I started watching it. I was super excited, and it starts off at the very beginning of season 1 with our main character, the not Goblin Slayer, the main girl character, being introduced or whatever, and she's like, yeah, I want to join a mission party or whatever, and she joins that first group of other 3 warriors or whatever to go kill some goblins, some itty bitty goblins in a dome tunnel. It's so easy. And I was just like, oh my god, girl, you're in for a fucking nightmare. So it was that was a good chunk of it. We get introduced to the Goblin Slayer, and the next chunk of it was once he meets up with the lizard dude, dwarf dude, and the elf girl, and they're fighting. I think he was an orc. He was the really big one, and he uses that that scroll that has the water pressure or whatever to really,
which was such a sick fight.
Yeah, which was super dope. And then there's that fight. I think there was another fight after that. Or was that the same fight? I think in that same fight he uses no, I think there's another recap fight where he uses the girl's hair to strangle some sort of giant orc. No, a goblin. This was an actual goblin, goblin champion. Yeah, so it was killed a regular goblin shaman. Next one was an orc that was controlling goblins. Next one was a goblin champion, and then the last bit was him killing the goblin lord or king. It was the one for the ones that they're gonna come, and he's they're gonna destroy the farmlands. So it was all of those, little chunks of those, and usually just the hype bit, the bits where they
actually do the kill.
Yeah, the bits where they're getting fucked really hard, and then Goblin Slayer's up.
Yeah.
And like he wrecks them.
Again, for those of you that haven't seen Goblin Slayer, maybe you don't intend on seeing it. It's a show that is based in a D&D type world, where you have like Dungeons and Dragons type of classes for all the different characters. They talk about having like a certain number of spells that they could use, stuff like that. So if you're familiar with D&D, you're very familiar with the Goblin Slayer world. That being said, it doesn't do any like over the top meta type of things other than the intro of the show, which has like dice rolling. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it never feels like it's a Dungeons and Dragons world in the way that like players play it, but it takes itself very seriously, and it's a darker, fucked up kind of fantasy world. The whole plot of the show is that this guy hates goblins because goblins are evil. He has some trauma about it, so he just kills fucking every goblin he's ever seen, and he doesn't take any quests unless it's to kill some goblins because they are his mortal enemy.
It's pretty intense because like he is just very adamant that goblins don't get enough like fucking attention, respect. Like, people don't take them very seriously. They're just little goblins. It's like, no, these things are fucking monsters. Yeah. And throughout the entire like the show, like we do get to see the actual Goblin Slayer shows like, the goblin threat is getting more and more like real and like more and more tough. Like
because nobody's taking these quests because everyone wants bigger fish to fry and all that. Yeah.
And this movie also shows us that sentiment still exists, that like the goblins are learning. they're the raptors, you know, like fucking very clever. You know, they keep learning, they keep, you know, improving.
And they show how fast they innovate and learn. And which I felt like, well, if goblins have been around for like fucking ever, why haven't they been learning shit the whole time? Like they're pretty much doing like shitty version of people things. Why are they still living in caves and shit? Like, I don't know.
I don't know either. But maybe it's just that time. Also, for people, I mean, it's not like a huge plot point in the Goblin Slayer world, at least in the story that we follow, because our main character again only cares about killing goblins.
Yeah.
But in this world, there's also a giant like dark force that is rising up and amassing some sort of army.
Guys, don't worry about that. Come on.
We barely get any information about it.
We just care about goblins.
Yeah, and maybe that's why. Maybe because this other force is like rising up, it's just making the goblins get even smarter, even faster, kind of thing. I don't know if you noticed this, but when the title card for the Goblin Slayer movie comes up, 20-something minutes in, it goes Goblin Slayer, you know, Goblin's Crown, and then below it, like in really small text, it says he does not let anyone roll the dice. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
I was like, God, those sons of bitches. Just I want you to fucking zoom out, and it was all a D&D game the whole time. None of it mattered. Like it was all fake.
It's like a really fucked up D&D campaign where you're like, hey, Dungeon Master, why'd you put that rape scene in there right away? Like, I don't want to be here.
To be very clear, for people who haven't seen Goblin Slayer Season 1, it is very dark. It is not like a show for everyone. There's like there's like some horrible imagery.
I think it starts out with a trigger warning, right? But
it didn't at first.
It did not.
It did not at first. We watched it. There was no trigger warning. We then came back to it, and there's like, boom, trigger warning. I was just like, yes, very much needed trigger warning, because I'm minding my own fucking business, is watching Crunchyroll like a fucking good old boy
just trying to watch
should.
a fucking anime. I'm just trying to hang out with my bros watching anime. I don't want to.
And there's just like this fucking really very well done, you know, horrible rape scene. I was like, I cannot believe this is happening. So yes, the show isn't for everyone. It is very dark at times. And the movie has those dark elements in it. It is not as heavy as the show, I would say. Like, we do get to see some darkish stuff, but not as bad as fucking episode 1, I feel like.
No, I mean, if you think about it, it's as bad or worse. Bad. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you don't think about it, because it doesn't show you anything, it seems a lot more.
It's very implied, right? It's just like, we know it happened, which is super fucked. But it's still really good. We were talking a little bit beforehand about, you know, how we felt about it, and this did feel like just a very long Goblin Slayer episode.
Which nothing wrong with that.
No, it doesn't do like an amazing job of progressing the story, if that's like what you wanted, like, because we do see in season 1, like the Goblin threat is getting more serious, and like those people are coming in and talking about, because the people he's grouped up with, the 3 other travelers, are like, hey, we're trying to band together to defeat this dark entity, and like there's like, he doesn't fucking care, right? As long as there's goblins involved, he's in it. So this movie doesn't like progress that plot line. It's just more of like, hey, goblins are still getting more serious because there's a new goblin threat out there, and we get to follow along with it. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I will say I will say there weren't any like super huge action moments like in the show that I thought like blew my mind.
Well, that's the thing. It was just so consistent with it. Mm-hmm. So there weren't those big moments. There wasn't that like huge fucking fight that was like, oh, it's like a lot of things happened consistently. Like,
right.
And that's kind of, I think, what separates it into feeling like it's more of a really long episode than a movie, because for like My Hero Academia had a couple of movies that very much feel like movies. Like, they start out and you're like, this is a movie. This isn't going to be super related to the plot of anything, but it's going to have some cool, flashy stuff.
United States of Slam? Come on, man. Like,
and it like the quality goes up as well. You could just tell that there's more animation put into each scene than an episode. For Goblin Slayer, I felt like it stayed that same quality, that same episode quality, where like you could even look at something like Violet Evergarden, which each episode is gorgeous in its own right. And the Violet Evergarden movie was gorgeous enough to be a movie, and it told a story that was a little bit more like the format of a movie. But again, the Violet Evergarden movie felt like it was just an extra long episode because of the way that the show goes.
Yeah.
That's the way that Goblin Slayer feels. It feels very appropriate for what the rest of the show was. It's not doing anything that feels really out of character. It's just kind of a long journey through a Goblin Slayer episode.
Yeah. And
with
I think
more consistent action.
That's the only thing that kind of like, I'm not going to say let me down, maybe disappointed me a little bit, because I wanted to see like...
You wanted a movie.
I wanted to see a really cool action thing, something really like bombastic to happen. Like even like the moment that we got to see in the beginning where they're like showing the recap stuff, and it's like him opening the scroll and the fucking water pressure coming out. I like took me back to that episode and being like, oh my God, that was insane kind of thing, you know? So I was hoping for something like that, and I didn't get it. And I was like, that's kind of a bummer. It didn't reach that level, that My Hero Academia level of like, they really went out for this one action sequence in Goblin Slayer. There was cool stuff in it, and it was consistent, like you said.
And honestly, during the cool parts, it was like, all right, well, the cool part to me is that he's constantly switching out his weapon like nonstop. And then literally the dwarf is just throwing him weapons, just has like a ton stored up. That kind of stuff felt like it was fun and very unique to the movie. We already knew beforehand that he improvises and like loses weapons all the time. And he's like, goblins don't need strong weapons to be killed. We can use anything, and we might as well reuse what they already have. So that we don't waste it. Like, we shouldn't treat these goblins with respect, kind of thing, right?
I love so much that he has like a very like short sword, you know. One, he's in a cave, he maybe doesn't have the highest range of motion to swing, but he also loves to throw his sword. I just think it's so dope. He's just like, fuck this goblin, and he just like throws his sword.
In the movie they're like, what happened to your sword? I threw it. Okay, here's another one.
It's so good. Oh man,
which is very D&D too. You're like, I want to chuck that shit at him. Like, okay,
I really admire his sense of style of like when it comes to fighting, because it is very true to who he is, and it's unabashedful, right? Like this is how I fight. This is how I fight for everything. Like, fuck anything. I'm gonna go all out.
Style. There's this scene where they all get dressed up in different outfits, and they're like tricking, doing a whole thing where they're like making a deal with the goblins and whatnot. So they're dressed in like evil looking clothes, which is hella funny. He looked kick ass. He's like all black and red. He looks fucking scary.
Do you think he like had that backup armor, or he painted it?
I thought that it was painted.
I think it is painted, right? Because at one point,
but
he's
it
like,
washed off.
He has all the black and the red, and then we see a scene when once he's inside, then he comes out and he's no longer that color, and I go, well, he didn't change armor, and it's the same armor, right? But it does look really cool. It's just like, he's sick. Like he's like the Black Ranger now. It's like, oh fucking look at this dude. and I the one thing that I do also really like is that I was saying that the recap bit of it, the 24 minutes or whatever, so reminded us all the time, every bit, like that he was the Goblin Slayer, because it's voiceover by the girl, so he's just like, and this is when he did this thing, this is when he did that thing, kind of stuff, and it's just like, I forgot how many times the Goblin Slayer just calls himself, Goblin Slayer. That's who I am.
But then it comes in the movie and they're like, Orkbug, please. And it completely gets rid of Goblin Slayer.
I love other people being like, dude, are you the Goblin Slayer? And you're just like, yeah, man, Goblin Slayer's got a Goblin Slayer. What are you going to do? I am who I am.
Yeah.
And the way he talks, his characterization, like he's very blunt, he just says things the way they are. And and Sierra gets a real kick out of him. Like he'll just call people stupid or be like, oh, that's dumb, and it's just like, yeah, that is dumb, Goblin Slayer. You fucking tell them,
Well, yeah, because essentially he has zero tact with anything, and he explains situations in a way that makes sense, but is not very thoughtful.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So yeah, in the movie they show that he's saying some shit that he probably shouldn't be saying.
Yeah, it's like when someone comes up to you and you're like, and you're awake and they go, hey, are you up? And you go, no, it's that thing. That's like, why waste your time? I'm gonna fucking. This is it. These are the words. I'm not going to use more words than I have to. I'm going to use these exact number of words to say what I'm trying to get across.
Speaking of that specific thing, the chick that wasn't in the movie very much, the witch that chills at the tavern all the time, who talks really slow. Yeah, who just has that weird way of speaking that's extra slow. Mm-hmm. There are theories and whatnot on why she talks so slow, and I really like that. She talks slow because she's so powerful that she could accidentally say the right combination of things and accidentally do a super fucked up spell and fuck everyone up. So she has to talk in a really slow cadence in order to avoid accidentally using tons of magic.
Really? Is that that's not
that's
canon?
A theory. No, that's just a theory.
Theory.
I like that theory. It's fun.
I think it's fun too, but wouldn't it be kind of, I don't know, I guess...
If you have just wild magic, shit just happens, dude.
It just shows how powerfully that she's so powerful that if she just speaks a little too fast, she could just destroy the world.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'd never heard of that, but I like that.
Stupid. It's fun. I like it. It's fun.
Let's quickly talk about I guess what the story is for this one.
Is there much of a story? Goblins are doing fucked up shit, and then they see some goblins. They shoot some goblins.
You're ruining it. Let me tell a story real quick. So it's Goblin Slayer, but they're in the snow. Okay,
all right.
That's all. No, so they go to a village to slay some goblins because a prior group of adventurers had gone out to kill the goblins and they had disappeared. So they went to go find them. And the beginning of the movie starts off with these other adventurers who seem very capable. They're doing a really good job, and so they have to go, rescue them, or if not rescue them, then take care of the goblin situation that's going on. And they find one of them as a survivor, and it's the leader, and she has a sword and she's been branded, and they see her being put on some sort of shrine and shit, and it's just well, this is new, right? And it does. They're sitting there trying to decipher what's going on. It's well, it's not a shaman, because there are the goblins,
they're familiar with goblins.
Yeah, they're it's not a shaman. A shaman wouldn't do this. And it's not a champion or a lord or whatever. And then he just goes, it's a paladin. Yeah, we got a goblin. We got a goblin paladin, boys.
It was just fucking nutso. Paladins being these religious usually very righteous, lawful people. So the fact that a goblin is an evil paladin just completely shatters everything that they knew about goblins. Right?
It destroys his the mold, right? It's just oh my god, because these goblins that that are attacking this village aren't killing people or raping them, which is what they usually do, right? They're just kind of knocking people out and stealing their shit, and it's just that seems really weird, right? And it's just well, this goblin paladin that's kind of controlling them needs their stuff to amass some sort of army, or he's trying to do something, right? So it's just there's a thinker amongst all these fucking drones now. It's super cool. I mean, I thought it was so funny. It's fucking paladin, man. I can't wait till we get a fucking goblin wizard, a goblin fucking, a goblin Goblin Slayer, like a version of him. There's just like a fucking little goblin out there that does what he does, just murders adventurers.
I mean, that's essentially what all goblins do, right?
Yeah, but not as tactful as he does.
Okay.
I also really like the fact that he's still counting how many goblins he kills. He's just like,
oh
all right,
yeah, he's
10.
like 17.
And then he'll tally up. It's like, how many did you get? 7? What do you get? 4? It's 19. I swear there was 20, and there's like, oh, there he is. Like that's so it's that. So that's the mission: save the girl, kill the goblins. And I mean, spoiler alert. Obviously, they do it. They save the day, and it's fine. Like it's not like I'm not ruining anything because like not the like. I don't like spoiling.
It's
like
just
a
bunch of action sequences,
Yeah.
and it's sick, and you should watch it if you like sick action sequences that are in Goblin Slayer. That's what it comes down to. Like, I had a great time with this. There are, of course, like movies that I didn't enjoy and think you should absolutely skip, like Bungo Stray Dogs' Dead Apple. You did not need to watch that. It added nothing. The fight sequences were like well animated, but it felt stupid. During this, it all feels like it's all part of Goblin Slayer, and this is something that would happen. And no characters act out of character. I would say the most out of character person is Orkbolg. Like, because he's like, hey, this chick that's gone through some really rough stuff and is clearly having a really bad time, she should join us because she said she wants to. And everyone's like, that's fucked up. Like, she's really not okay. She probably shouldn't be here. And he's like, she wants revenge. I understand.
Yeah, I get
and then she has like a huge fucking breakdown and ruins everything. And he's like, that's what we do. Time to kill goblins. You're like, okay.
It's just like, and then Goblins is like, I fucking knew that was gonna happen. I fucking knew it. Like I knew it was gonna happen. Like, and she helps. She does her lightning attack, which is pretty cool.
You got to see magic.
A dope ass avalanche that happens. I was like, when that happened, I was like, what the fuck are they gonna do? And I was just like, oh yeah, protection spell. Here we go.
Well, it was hella funny because like throughout the movie, he's just like, it's kind of cold outside. Why don't you wear this like underwater breathing ring? And they're like, what? And they're like, it helps. Trust me. Yeah. They're like, wow, it does help kind of. And then by the end of it, it's like, oh, so we all wore these rings because you were going to avalanche us.
Avalanche, yeah.
And you didn't want to tell us? That would have been cool to have a heads up. And he was like, I didn't think I needed to tell you. It's like, fuck you, Goblin Slayer. Piece of shit, making me get in an avalanche without any prep.
He's like, I gave you the ring, didn't I? Shut the fuck up. Like, come on, man. Be happy.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
overall,
pretty good.
There's not honestly a lot to say about this because it's just consistent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I will say that I thought it was funny that once it's all over and they're all at the tavern and having a good time, and it's just like, what's everybody going to be doing and stuff? And, the girl's
showing
just
off
like,
all the side characters from the show.
Yeah. The farmer girl's there for 2 seconds. She's like, no one writes me a letter. I was just like, yeah, bitch. You get big boobs. That's all you do. You don't do nothing.
You're a childhood friend. You're innocent. Whatever.
Yeah, you're the only thing that makes him happy. Maybe we don't know. But yeah, and then it just ends with like him on like the like on a hillside, like watching, ever vigilant. Fucking, he's the Batman of the fucking universe, And it's
which
just
I
like,
also think is hella funny that like everyone's having a party and he's like, but we must watch for goblins. So he's just up on a hill, chilling while everyone else is partying. And then
he absolutely is Batman. Like he will never not stop being like, those fucking goblins are somewhere.
Yeah, totally, man. And then she comes up and she's like, hey, why are you watching? Like, you should be celebrating. And we're all like, because he's Goblin Slayer. And he says, I'm Goblin Slayer. And then it just says Goblin Slayer. And the movie's over.
He puts on his sunglasses and goes, pew, looks at the camera. And then, like, the fucking rock solo starts shredding in as the intro starts running.
It's like some fucking crazy jazz comes in.
No, man, it was a good time. Like you said, if you watch the show, you should for sure watch the movie.
I mean, it's on Crunchyroll. You might as well crunch it, dude.
It's already there. If you want, you can skip the 24-minute recap. I thought it was actually done pretty well. I've watched recap movies before, and you could like feel them be like awkward. But since this one was for sure like put out there as like someone with dialogue and like monologuing it and be like giving you like, hey, this is like narrating it. That's what I meant. Like you feel like it's gonna end at like an appropriate time. So I feel like 25 minutes to cover a 12-season episode was fair. And then there's like an hour of movie afterwards. So it's like, yeah, if you don't want to do that, go ahead. I think you could actually probably, if you wanted to, go ahead and watch this if you haven't seen Goblin Slayer. Like it's that's how well the recap is done. I feel like it's done. It does its job efficiently.
It'll get you in.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, it's worth the watch. Good time. Nothing blew my mind, but it was still entertaining. So
I'm hoping next week we could have our minds blown because we're watching Ride Your Wave, which is the Masaki Yuasa movie that we've been waiting for. It's been out for like a year, but it hasn't been out in the U.S. So
no, hold on. It was out in the U.S., but we couldn't make it because we had just gone and watched the Violet Evergarden movie, and then like it was like the next day or something, or 2 days after.
And we had to like go back to Sacramento.
Yeah. It was just like
fuck that, dude.
Yeah, and I think we had to like you either had to get work off or I had to cancel class. It was something. It was just like it was
too tough.
It was not feasible. And then the world shut down. It's just like fuck. We should have gone to see Ride Your Wave. But it is out, and we're gonna be able to watch it on Amazon. You're able to buy it or rent it. Trip also gave me really good heads up. Rent it or buy it in the language that you want to watch it in, because there is no switching from dub to sub.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could get refunded if you wanted to, but like, that's a lot of work. Just
be aware that we've had that in the past where it's like, oh, it is very much just in this language, and just be clear. I haven't decided what I want to watch it in. I usually go for dubs because it's easier for me to consume, but I also really like Iwasa's movies, and I would love to see it in the way that it was made,
And we want to make sure that the rap is good.
Yeah. Well, the rap in English for the dub from Tokyo Sinks 2020 was amazing. Okay. Dub sub, I had 2 thumbs way up. As good as the Grey album. You heard it here first.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I just listened to the entire Grey album while we were doing this podcast.
Perfect. Yeah, man. Really excited about that. So check it out. You have a week to do it, you guys. Join us. Mm-hmm. Watch it. Yeah. Listen.
Yeah, because we're going to spoil it for sure. It's been out for a while, so we're going to...
It hasn't been out for that long.
It's been out for a while now.
It's been out for less than 24 hours.
It's been out for an entire year now. It's been out... It was out in Japan, wasn't it?
I'm not even close to being Japanese.
No, not even. So yeah, so that's what we're doing next week. We're super excited. Thanks for... That's the show, right? We're good?
We're good. Are you good?
Okay, cool. I am good. So if you like our theme song, check out Tom Master on SoundCloud and YouTube. He also just dropped a new cover. Okay, go check it out. Support the boy.
It's fucking sick.
Trip, where can people find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instagram podcast. If you want to send us a tweet at InstaRamenPod.
Podcast didn't fit.
And if you want to send us an email, InstaRamenPodcast@gmail.com. We're also going to be streaming Fall Guys all weekend. We stream our... I just keep saying that. 8 to 8 all weekend, baby. We stream our episodes when we're recording it now. So while we might not be able to participate in chat as well as we would like to, we're still able to hang out and chill with the homies. So come and join us. We usually record on Tuesdays, sometime between 8 and 9 we start. Hell yeah.
Okay. This is bye from Juan.
See you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.
Hey, so real quick. I was going to bring this up earlier. I'm going to bring it up now. Sierra's birthday is in like a couple months, right? My birthday's in a month, by the way. Yeah. Just so you know. Just in case you're wondering.
I remember.
Okay.
September 1st.
3rd.
Yeah.
The first 3rd in September.
Yeah.
No, anyways, so I was like, hey, Sierra, what do you want for birthday? Well, the first thing she wants is like probably not going to happen just because it's like a thing we'd have to do. And just because like COVID, it's not physically possible.
Anything, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and
I remember when we were supposed to go see the Book of Mormon together.
Fuck, dude. I'm still so fucking mad at that.
I am too. And Isaiah's like, you know that song from Book of Mormon? And I'm like, no.
You go, shut the fuck up.
Don't you ever talk to me about Book of Mormon.
No. So the thing is like, I was like, well, Sierra, like she said, hey, if this is a possibility to do safely because of travel or whatever, we can do it. If not, she had an option 2 and 3. 3 is like purchasing her stuff. That's like the gifts that she wants, right? The 2 option is a lot more friendly for me because it costs me no monies. The only gift that Sierra wants for her birthday, if I can make it happen, is a handshake from her friend Trip, Raw Dog. Hand to hand, no glove. And I was just like, that's all you want? I was like, I got to convince Trip to give you a handshake. And I And so just think about it. If you want to help me out, maybe save some bucks. Give Sierra a handshake for her birthday.
Absolutely not. Never.
Come on.
I'm not going to risk either of us.
You son of a bitch.
Why would I ever do
I
that?
hate you. God, I'm not going to buy her a gift like a normal person.
Yeah, that's also a fucked up, weird way to get your friend involved with some shit that probably he shouldn't be involved with.
I just need you to shake her hand.
Yeah, but during a pandemic where we could easily spread disease from one person to another.
Not if you sanitize your entire body for 24 hours before you shake her hand.
Yeah, we could do a lot of things that would definitely prevent the spread, but I'm not going to encourage that kind of fucked up behavior, you know?
All right. I'm just saying, you're really hurting me here, boy.
I'll make out with her, though.
Jesus Christ. Okay, bye, man.